Hey everyone, it's Jason with SONAX. It's that time of the week again. It's Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's time for our little, education seminar that we're doing every Friday. So, what we're going to talk about this week is paint protection, and not a little bit further into that on paint protection is the differences between Carnauba-based protection and polymer-based protection. Both are great, but we're just going to kind of talk about each of them. Before we do that, though, I want to discuss or kind of talk about a simple, everyone knows this, but before you put a protective layer down on the car, you have to, of course, wash the car. So wash it thoroughly, dry it off, get the residues off. If you see any bird droppings or tree sap or things like that, get that removed, because putting a paint protective layer down, you have to have a nice clean surface so that it bonds correctly. So having said that, first we'll talk about Carnauba-Care. Now, Carnauba-Care is a derivative of, or the ingredients in it, the main ingredient for protection is a derivative of a plant. It's a waxy plant, and it's farmed and used in Carnauba-based products. Now, obviously there's different kinds of Carnauba-based products. There's paste wax like this SONAX Carnauba-Care. There's high-speed wax, there's liquid waxes, but what they contain as the protective ingredient is Carnauba. The pros to Carnauba are that typically they're very easy to apply. They provide a nice depth of gloss or deep color, so they're very shiny. They kind of bring the warmth out in the paint. And they're also, a lot of people like that buttery feel. A lot of car shows I go to, when I put something down, everybody comes up and they like to feel the paint. Well, they feel the paint because they expect it to feel like that satiny, buttery finish. So that's what Carnauba-based products do. They provide those things. Depth of shine, nice touch, nice color. The flip side of that, or the con side to Carnauba-Care, is it really doesn't last that long. So even in the best environment, 8 weeks you're going to get out of a Carnauba-based product. Maybe 4 weeks, depending on the environment you're in. The high heat, the melting point for Carnauba is much lower than some of the other ones. So if you're in the high desert area, Phoenix or whatever, that high heat on your paint surface will begin to degrade that protection, and you have to apply it more often. So that's Carnauba-Care. Now, what will go is the other side, or I wouldn't say the other side, but a different kind of viewpoint on protection is the polymer-based sealants. And polymer-based, it's a synthetic. It's not a natural substance. And what polymers do is they actually kind of, once you apply them, and they cure, and the cure time's very quick, but they actually kind of produce a webbing or a net effect over the top of the paint. So instead of a Carnauba where it kind of melts into all the little crevices, this actually provides a net web effect over the top. It does bond to the paint, but it's a net web effect. And what it does, because of that, the melting point's much higher, lasts much longer, like our SONAX Polymer Net Shield, lasts up to 6 months, even in harsh environments. The other one, this is our spray detailer. So it's like a quick detailer like our high-speed wax, but it's Brilliant Shine Detailer. This is polymer-based. Most detailers, 1 to 2 car washes tops. Brilliant Shine Detailer, about 6 weeks, or 6 car washes. So they're very good on protection. The con is, and this is just our feedback we get, is that they're a little grabby, or the feel of it on the paint isn't like what it is with Carnauba-Care, and that's fine. So it's a give and take. If you want longevity, you go to a polymer base like these. If you want a really smooth feel, you have this. Now, if you want both worlds, you can have like our liquid wax, which is both a Carnauba and a polymer-based formula, so it gives you longevity and the feel. Or what you could do is put something like the Polymer Net Shield down, which gives a nice long protection, and then go over that with the high-speed wax or even the Carnauba-Care. There's no degradation in mixing the products. It actually makes it last longer, creates a nice depth of shine. Because this does make a net effect on the paint, you will get a nice depth of gloss with it. So they're really, it kind of depends on what you want. Length of depth of shine for this, or if you want longevity, this is kind of your way, or if you want both and kind of put them together, there's nothing that says you can't do that. So those are kind of the differences between Carnauba and polymer. Now, what I would also like to say is, and this is kind of a little extra tip, but cloths. So everyone uses cloths to remove residue and clean and things like that for your car. What we have a 3-pack, and in the 3-pack there's a blue edge, and a white edge, and a red edge. Now, what you choose to use them for is up to you. But what you don't want to do is use one towel to clean your leather, and then use that same towel, go outside, and then wipe your wax or your sealant off the paint. You want to keep them separate. So use maybe a blue one for the exterior, red for your interior, and then maybe use the white one for your final wipe. This is your clean cloth. White cloth, final wipe down to the car. So that's a nice little extra trick so that you're not cross-contaminating products. So those are little tips and tricks. Now, I get these questions a lot. One of them is do I need to strip all of the wax and things off my car before I apply this? The answer is really no. You don't have to. Really, what you want to do when you're putting your protection down is layering is fine, and as long as there is a protective coating on the car, that should protect your paint. So it's not necessarily, you don't have to do it, but what you want to do, the biggest thing is cleaning the car properly. So getting the tree sap off, getting the tar off, getting the bird droppings and insect residue. That's really the key to making sure your paint lasts a long time. These are just protecting it, and they can layer, and it's just fine. Can you use both? I just went through that. Yes, you can. You can use both. You can use a polymer-based, and the rule of thumb is whatever lasts longest goes on first. So if you've got a polymer that lasts a long time, put that on first, and then put the Carnauba-based over the top of them. There's typically silicones and Carnauba-based products. Silicones are oils. They heat up quick. If they're underneath a polymer-based protective layer, they will actually degrade that polymer layer on top. It won't last as long. So it's always best to put the polymer down first. Okay, so that's and then I think the other question really is can you layer waxes, and can you if I put 3 or 4 coats on here, is it going to last longer? And the answer honestly is no. There's no real proof that says if I put 4 coats of wax on my car, it's going to last a year. That's not necessarily the case. What really helps longevity of protection is how you wash the car, and honestly keeping them out of the automatic car washes. Those automatic car washes are quick, they're convenient, they're great in cold weather like we have. However, they really eat up protection. So how you clean your car and maintain it is the biggest factor in making sure that your protective layer stays intact on the surface. So I think that's all we have for this week. And next week is, Leanne, what's next week? I can't remember. Next week we'll have something new. Yeah, we'll be at Mobile Tech actually. So Mobile Tech is next week. Please stop by. Love to see you. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for everything.